Hello everyone and welcome to the AOR Hungarian Grand Prix. So we're starting my quali lap here, and this quali lap I was actually quite happy with. So we're just entering the straight and into the first corner, braking just after the 100-meter board, taking a nice late apex and short shifting up to third gear just to get a little bit better traction. Traction there is very difficult. I'm of course running very high wings, which makes it that little bit easier, but then my front wing is still higher than my rear wing, so that makes it a lot more difficult. So in the first sector we're about a tenth down on pole sitter Terreno Tigger, at least the professional pole, and we're negating it pretty nicely. If you're wondering why I'm so much quicker than my last lap until this point, I think I'm about half a second up, is because my last lap I tried first I tried to do my quali lap on the soft tires, because if you start on the soft tires here you can make a two-stop work with the tire wear glitch as well, where you have less tire wear if you start on a harder tire all throughout the race. So yeah, I tried that, didn't work out, got about 16th place I think, so pretty much at the bottom of the field. But here this lap I was quite happy with, over second up, I think about 1.5 seconds up, I can't really tell. And at the moment it puts me in P5. So let's see where it brought me at the end. I couldn't improve it, it's still P5 actually. I still need to alter my flag. But less than half a second of pole position by Nick B. Very good job from him. So here, the race starting. It's wet. Oh yeah. But we got 5 lights and they're out. It was quite a long wait and my start is quite bad. It really isn't that good. I get passed up the inside by Williams, but here around the outside I have the room and I brake a little bit later. The Renault is going quite slow through the corner. I try to hang it around this outside in between him and non-runner, but I just can't quite make it. And then here non-runner goes into the back of the Renault and I can swoop down the inside. Can't quite get it up the inside of the Renault, but it was very close, very close. And I'm at third now, just so very happy with that. From P5 to P3, just with being a little bit cautious, a bit conservative, has worked out quite nicely. That's really something that I try to do now. Just be very careful the opening laps. I've been involved in opening lap crashes, first lap crashes, all too often. Get a warning there. That chicane is really a bitch, especially in the wet. But yeah, I've been involved in those first lap crashes way too often in previous seasons, and it just ruins your race. And here I go wide, I just turn in too late, I overestimate the grip that I thought I would have, and Mini Black shoots up the inside. Nothing I can do about that. He just got a very clean run for that corner. Now here I'm very close. Am I gonna try it around the outside? No, inside no. Just, yeah, he brakes late. He also goes a bit deep, but that's a very good way of defending. I have to actually defend, because I think it's, yeah, Lol is was trying to hang it around my outside there. But here onto the straight, is Lolo gonna make one? No, his arrow is fading. I think we're fine for now. And yeah, there you see one of the commentator cars standing to the side. If you haven't seen the stream yet, the stream really is very good fun to watch. King Kodiak provides some great commentary. The first few streams were with Justin or Fake Ghost Pirate, and he's a great commentator. Now Hamish Sopwith has taken it over. He's also a little bit of a veteran in this league, and I think his commentary is very nice as well. It's not quite as enthusiastic as to say as Justin's, but it's actually really nice and laid back, which is also a style of commentary I very much enjoy. And I think it pairs well with King Kodiak's very enthusiastic commentary as well. So here we're trying to hang on the back of Mini Black. Actually I wasn't all too worried about that. I had a nice gap to the rear. It's a few seconds gap already to Ryan, who actually did very well. I think he started quite far down. Don't know exactly how far. I think like P8 or round about there, but don't quote me on that. So I actually wasn't all too bothered with sticking to the back of Mini Black. It was just like, I'm not gonna push all too hard. I'm just gonna drive the best race I can, and just have as good pace as possible. So I was just practically trying to drive as clean as I could, which is going quite well. You don't see me having loads and loads of oversteer. But here we skip ahead to lap 9 because, well, really pretty much nothing happened. We're still in P4. Nick B now actually, he made a mistake into the first corner. He just told me he lost a bit of concentration and he just shot straight on, which lost him quite a few positions actually. I think it was in P2 before that, but really nothing happened. And yeah, it's starting to look like it might actually be getting a bit lighter. And then, yeah, this happened. Yeah, not much I can say about that. I think you can all see what happened. And there's my front wing. I get overtaken by Knelly. I'm in 5th place. I had a really nice gap to the rear. But yeah, that sucked. So here I'm trying to leave enough room for people to go by, but at the same time I don't want to go very very slowly. But I respect these people enough to not like be driving a roadblock. So Ryan, I leave Ryan room on the inside there, and yeah, he just sails by. No front wing, lap 9. It's probably a one-stop race, but the rain was set to intensify. So later on in the race, so it's very hard to say whether it's going to be a one or two stop. If people can stay out until the wet weather conditions intensify, then you can make a one-stop work, especially the wet tires can go such a long distance. It's really insane. And here I almost half spin, like completely lock up the rears, which is actually very surprising considering I don't have any downforce on the front. And almost spin it into the pit, so I'm gonna go on another set of inters. I just don't feel like it's ready yet for the wets. So yeah, new front wing. It's it was very very painful. This going from quite a comfortable 4th place. I pretty much, had I not lost my front wing, I would probably still just about be in 4th. So that's and it could have spun, but oh well. Nothing you can do about that. My own mistake. And the curbs are so slippery. This wet weather driving, I actually find it quite enjoyable, but it is very very difficult, especially on a track like this. Monaco without walls, well, I found pretty much the only wall you can crash into, or at least one of the only ones. Oh well. Yeah, not much more to say about that. So we're in P13 now, and the next guy is a few seconds up ahead. It's not too bad. But yeah, we skip a few laps ahead, to lap 16, and we're right on the back of Merrick now. We closed up on him, and Tyranno Tigger's in the lead, by the way, for anyone wondering. Yeah, we closed up to him. Our tires are of course about 9-10 laps fresher than most other people's tires, depending on whether they made a first lap pit stop due to crashes, but I don't think there were many. Anyway, Merrick actually trying to make a move, but that doesn't quite work out. This put us right up his rear. And are we gonna try it around the outside? No. Maybe on the inside have a better line? No. Just doesn't quite work. And if you're wondering who that is, Afro is actually a reserve driver. He's our first reserve, who has recently been added to Split 1. And he was doing quite well, really. Up in P9, not bad, not all too shabby. And here I went to the inside more to make sure I didn't crash into the back of him, but he went wide, outbraking himself a little bit, and that enabled me to go up the inside. So next up is AOR Fizzy, the legend himself. Let's see, it's a few seconds up the road, but it's not too bad. I think he's still on the tires he started the race on, so they're gonna be 17 laps old compared to our 8 lap old tires. And here on lap 18 you can just see we closed up a little bit, but especially here you can just see every corner we are getting closer. I was actually feeling reasonably confident in these conditions. I really got used to it. Actually in the first few laps I was a bit tired. I just came back from a skiing holiday, and I was quite tired, so my legs were a bit shaky, which really isn't nice if you want to regulate the throttle very well. But here we are not closing up that much to Visi, but in this section where you really need the rear tires and the brakes, Visi just, yeah, his tires are just shot really. So yeah, you just blah, 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 blah. Let's try that again. You can just see us closing up every single corner. And here we go, get a really nice exit. And yeah, we're just nicely in the slipstream. With the high wings as well, the slipstream becomes extra effective. And here with the fresh tires we can now brake quite comfortably around the inside. He tries to hang it around the outside, does it reasonably well, but with our fresh tires we get a slightly better exit. And here braking into the next, we actually overshoot this corner. And Visi, can he go up our inside? No, I think he actually overcooked the corner a little bit as well. So yeah, that's us past Visi. And always nice to battle Visi. He really is a legend of AOR, setting up the leaks, and also a very great guy. So here we're actually skipping, I think it's one lap further ahead, and we're just Jim cornering it into the pits. And cause I actually got a radio message from my engineer telling me that it is the crossover point, just about. So yeah, we're gonna take the gamble. He told me that it was just about ready, but it was very hard to say. And I was like, well, I'm in what, P8, P9, and it could have been a P4. So this race pretty much lost for me. So I was just like, screw it, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. Put on a set of wets, and I'm in P9 now. And we are right behind Merrick again. Merrick actually is on the inters, so that's very interesting. I would have thought if he ended up in front of us, he would have been on the wets. But as you can see, the wets, yeah, they are gripping up. I'm not really falling back from Merrick too much, but at the same time, are they better than the inters? Was it worth an extra pit stop? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So here you can just see me have to be careful with throttle only, going full throttle at the end of 4th gear. And here overshooting the corner a little bit, and not actually that time I don't get a warning. I hate the warning system on this game. Like, it's very good, that's strict. I really like that. Although it can be very frustrating. But at the same time, like, I cut that corner completely. And also in practice for the next race, which is Germany, you can just completely cut the first corner, and it doesn't make any it doesn't give you any sort of penalty or warning whatsoever. And here you just got that chicane very slightly, you get a warning. I cut massively there because I overshot it, and I don't get anything. It's very inconsistent in my opinion, probably to do with the time that you gain, but oh well. That's maybe something for a rage video, but I'm sure like G has made a rage video on that already. But yeah, here we go in lap 22. So behind me is non-runner, who actually was very high up in the. Oh no, actually he was the one who crashed into Torrent Tigger on the first lap. Was also on the wets. Well, if you can match his pace, that's always a good sign, because he is a very quick guy. And here, Merrick, a few laps later, Merrick overshot the chicane massively. And you can just see that. That's why I think it's bullshit to get a penalty for it. Because you lose so much time doing that if you do try to make the corner, but you overshoot it. That, yeah. It just, yeah, it doesn't gain you anything. Here, a few guys pitting, so we're from P7 to P5. On lap 26, and the next guy up ahead is Knally. And let's have a look. I couldn't quite catch the gap at the end of the lap, but let's see what the gap is going into the first sector. And I probably can't read it because my screen is very small, but the gap is, what is it? Yeah, you have to look for yourself, I can't read that. Anyway, we're gonna see how it goes. We are on the wet tires, and they are starting to get into the groove a little bit. So here, skipping laps and laps and laps ahead, 2 laps every time actually, and you can just see us. We are closing him down actually quite massively. At one point I was closing him down about 2 seconds a lap, and I was really getting my hopes up. But here in lap 35, at the end, yeah, it's got a little bit drier. You maybe can see it got a little bit lighter as well, and he was just able to manage the gap. Actually, at the front, Mini Black on this last lap actually closed in on Tyranno Tigger by 1.5 seconds. So that just shows how much the intermediate tires got back into their own. But yeah, Knolly actually talked with him as well after the race. He told me it was like a few laps after I pit, it was like, oh shit. Okay, so Nicky has pitted, but I'm still in the inters and it's getting wetter. What should I do? If I pit now, I'm behind him and it's nigh on impossible to overtake her. So he would just decide to stay out, hoping that it wouldn't get too bad. And in the end, it worked out for him. I closed him down quite massively, so the wet tires definitely were the better choice. But for him, it just didn't make any sense to pit because he would have been behind me and he would have had to overtake me in wet weather conditions without the arrest, which would have been very difficult. So yeah, fair play to him. In the end, he got the P4. I think the most I could have gotten hadn't I crashed was P4, because it pretty much cost me maybe about, I think the crash itself cost me about 10 to 15 seconds looking at that lap time, and then an extra pit stop cost me a bit, but then again I had fresh tires. In the end I think it cost me maybe about 25 to 30 seconds. Oh yeah, no, I actually acquired 2 penalties, which really is a shame, but it's so hard. You see how many people got penalties, but in the end I think P4 would have been possible, P3 would have been very difficult, because as you saw in the beginning, Nick B, Mini Black and Tyranno were just extremely quick. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.